Charles Robert Redford Jr., better known as Robert Redford, is an American actor, director, producer, businessman, environmentalist, and philanthropist. Redford is the founder of the Sundance Film Festival. Redford's career began in 1960 as a guest star on numerous TV programs, including The Untouchables, Perry Mason, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and The Twilight Zone, among others. He earned an Emmy nomination as Best Supporting Actor for his performance in the voice of Charlie Punt. His greatest Broadway success was as the stuffy newlywed husband of Elizabeth Ashley in Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park. Redford made his film debut in War Hunt. His role in Inside Daisy Clover won him a Golden Globe for Best New Star. He starred in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which was a huge success and made him a major star. In 1972, he had a critical and box office hit with Jeremiah Johnson, and in 1973 had the greatest hit of his career, the blockbuster crime caper The Sting, for which he was nominated for an Academy Award. The popular and acclaimed All the President's Men was a landmark film for Redford. The first film that Redford directed, Ordinary People, was one of the most critically and publicly acclaimed films of the decade, winning 4 Oscars, and in the same year, he starred in Brubaker. He starred in Out of Africa, which was an enormous critical and box office success, and won 7 Oscars including Best Picture, proving to be his greatest success of the decade. He released his third film as a director, A River Runs Through It, in 1992. Redford won the Academy Award for Best Director in 1981 for directing Ordinary People. He was previously nominated Best Actor in 1974 for his performance in The Sting, and went on to receive Best Director and Best Picture nominations in 1995 for Quiz Show. He won a second Academy Award for Lifetime Achievement in 2002. In 2010, he was made a Chevalier of the Legion Honor. He has won BAFTA, Directors Guild of America, Golden Globe, and Screen Actors Guild Awards. In April 2014, Time magazine included Redford in their annual Time 100 as one of the most influential people in the world, declaring him the godfather of indie film. Early life. Redford was born on August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, California. His mother, Martha W., was born in Texas, to Archibald Hart and Sally Pater Green, and his father, Charles Robert Redford, Sr., was a milkman-turned-accountant from Pawcatuck, New London County, Connecticut, son of Charles Elijah Redford and Lena Taylor. He has a step-brother, William, from his father's remarriage. Redford is of English, Irish, Scottish, and Scots-Irish ancestry. Redford's family moved to Van Nuys, California, while his father worked in El Segundo. He attended Van Nuys High School, where he was classmates with baseball pitcher Don Drysdale. He has described himself as having been a bad student, finding inspiration outside the classroom, and being interested in art and sports. He hit tennis balls with Pancho Gonzalez at the Los Angeles Tennis Club to warm him up. After graduating from high school in 1954, he attended the University of Colorado in Boulder for a year and a half, where he was a member of the Kappa Sigma fraternity. While there, he worked at the restaurant bar The Sink. A painting of his likeness is prominent in the bar's murals. While at Colorado, Redford began drinking heavily and as a result lost his half-scholarship and was kicked out of school. Later he traveled in Europe, living in France, Spain, and Italy. He later studied painting at the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn and took classes at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. Career. Television. Redford's career, like that of almost all major stars who emerged in the 1950s, began in New York. where an actor could find work both in television and on stage. Starting in 1959, he appeared as a guest star on numerous programs, including Naked City, The Untouchables, The Americans, Whispering Smith, Perry Mason, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Route 66, Drive, Kildare, Playhouse 98, The Twilight Zone, and Captain Brassband's Conversion with a young Christopher Plummer, among others. In 1960, Redford was cast as Danny Tilford, a mentally disturbed young man trapped in the wreckage of his family garage in Breakdown, one of the last episodes of the syndicated adventure series Rescue 8, starring Jim Davis and Lang Jeffries. Redford earned an Emmy nomination as Best Supporting Actor for his performance in the voice of Charlie Punt. One of his last television appearances was on October 7, 1963, on Breaking Point, an ABC medical drama about psychiatry. Theatre. Redford's Broadway debut was in a small role in Tall Story, followed by parts in The Highest Tree and Sunday in New York. His biggest Broadway success was as the stuffy newlywed husband of Elizabeth Ashley in Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park film. Redford made his screen debut in Tall Story. It was a minor role. The stars of the film were Anthony Perkins, Jane Fonda, and Ray Walston. The film was about a college basketball star, played by Perkins, who gets himself into trouble debating as to whether or not he should accept a bribe to throw a basketball game against a team from Russia. After his Broadway success, he was cast in larger feature roles in movies. In 1962, Robert Redford got his second film role in War Hunt. He was cast alongside screen legend Alec Guinness in the war comedy Situation Hopeless, but not serious, in which he played a soldier who has to spend years of his life hiding behind enemy lines. In Inside Daisy Clover, which won him a Golden Globe for Best New Star, he played a bisexual movie star who marries starlet Natalie Wood, and rejoined her along with Charles Bronson for Pollux This Property Is Condemned, again as her lover, though this time in a film which achieved even greater success. The same year saw his first teaming with Jane Fonda in Arthur Penn's The Chase. This film marked the only time Redford would star with Marlon Brando. Fonda and Redford were paired again in the popular big-screen version of Barefoot in the Park, and were again co-stars much later in Pollux The Electric Horseman. After this initial success, Redford became concerned about his blonde male stereotype image and turned down roles in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and The Graduate. Redford found the niche he was looking for in George Roy Hill's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, scripted by William Goldman, in which he was paired for the first time with Paul Newman. The film was a huge success and made him a major bankable star, cementing his screen image as an intelligent, reliable, sometimes sardonic good guy. Redford suffered through a few films that did not achieve box office success during this time, including Downhill Racer, Tell Them Willie Boy Is Here, Little Fouse and Big Halsey, and The Hot Rock. But his overall career was flourishing with the critical and box office hit Jeremiah Johnson, the political satire The Candidate, the hugely popular period drama The Way We Were, and the biggest hit of his career, the blockbuster crime caper The Sting, which became one of the top 20 highest-grossing movies of all time when adjusted for inflation, and for which he was also nominated for an Oscar. Between 1974 and 1976, exhibitors voted Redford Hollywood's top box office name. His hits included The Great Gatsby, The Great Waldo Pepper, and 3 Days of the Condor. The popular and acclaimed All the President's Men, directed by Alan J. Parkuda and scripted once again by Goldman, was a landmark film for Redford. Not only was he the executive producer and co-star, but the film's serious subject matter, the Watergate scandal, and its attempt to create a realistic portrayal of journalism, also reflected the actor's off-screen concerns for political causes. He also appeared in a segment of the war film A Bridge Too Far before starring in the prison drama Brubaker, playing a prison warden attempting to reform the system, and the baseball drama The Natural. Redford continued his involvement in mainstream Hollywood movies, though with a newfound focus on directing. The first film he directed, Ordinary People, which followed the disintegration of an upper-class American family after the death of a son, was one of the most critically and publicly acclaimed films of the decade, winning 4 Oscars, including Best Director for Redford himself, and Best Picture. His follow-up directorial project, The Milagro Beanfield War, failed to generate the same level of attention. Sidney Pollack's Out of Africa, with Redford in the male lead role opposite Meryl Streep, became an enormous critical and box office success and won 7 Oscars including Best Picture, proving to be Redford's biggest success of the decade and Redford and Pollack's most successful of the 6 movies together. His next film, Legal Eagles, was only a minor success at the box office. Redford continued as a major star throughout the 1990s and 2000s. He released his 3rd film as a director, A River Runs Through It, in 1992, which was a return to mainstream success for Redford as a director and brought a young Brad Pitt to greater prominence. In 1993, Redford played what became one of his most popular and recognized roles, starring in Indecent Proposal as a millionaire businessman who tests a couple's morals. The film became one of the year's biggest hits. He co-starred with Michelle Pfeiffer in the newsroom romance Up Close and Personal, and with Kristen Scott Thomas in The Horse Whisperer, which he also directed. Redford also continued work in films with political context, such as Savannah, playing Jack Vile, a professional gambler in 1959 Cuba during the Revolution, as well as Sneakers, in which he co-starred with River Phoenix among others. He appeared as a disgraced Army general sent to prison in the prison drama The Last Castle, directed by Rod Lurie. In the same year, Redford reteamed with Brad Pitt for Spy Game, another success for the pair, but with Redford switching this time from director to actor. Redford, a leading environmental activist, narrated the IMAX documentary Sacred Planet, a sweeping journey across the globe to some of its most exotic and endangered places. In The Clearing, a thriller co-starring Helen Mirren, Redford was a successful businessman whose kidnapping unearths the secrets and inadequacies that led to his achieving the American dream. Redford stepped back into producing with The Motorcycle Diaries, a coming-of-age road film about a young medical student, Ernesto Che Guevara, and his friend Alberto Granado. It also explored political and social issues of South America that influenced Guevara and shaped his future. With 5 years spent on the film's making, Redford was credited by director Walter Salles for being instrumental in getting it made and released. Back in front of the camera, Redford received good notices for his role in director Lasse Hallström's An Unfinished Life as a cantankerous rancher who was forced to take in his estranged daughter-in-law, whom he blames for his son's death, and the granddaughter he never knew he had when they fled an abusive relationship. The film, which sat on the shelf for many months while its distributor Miramax was restructured, was generally dismissed as cliched and overly sentimental. Meanwhile, Redford returned to familiar territory when he reteamed with Meryl Streep 22 years after they starred in Out of Africa, for his personal project Lions for Lambs, which also starred fellow superstar Tom Cruise. After a great deal of hype, the film opened to mixed reviews and disappointing box office. Redford more recently signed on to direct and star in an update of The Candidate. Redford appeared in the 2011 documentary Buck, where he discussed his experiences with title subject Buck Brannaman during the production of The Horse Whisperer. In 2012, Redford directed and starred in The Company You Keep, about a former Weather Underground activist who goes on the run from a journalist who has discovered his identity. In 2013, he starred in All Is Lost, directed by J.C. Chandor, about a man lost at sea. He received very high acclaim for his performance in the film, in which he is its only cast member and there is almost no dialogue. In April 2014, Redford appeared in the Marvel Studios superhero film Captain America: The Winter Soldier, playing Alexander Pierce, the main antagonist who was the head of SHIELD and leader of the Hydra cell operating the Triskelion. Director Redford had long harbored ambitions to work on both sides of the camera. As early as 1969, Redford had served as the executive producer for Downhill Racer. His first outing as director was 1980's Best Picture winner Ordinary People, a drama about the slow disintegration of an upper-middle-class family, for which he won the Academy Award for Best Director. Redford was credited with obtaining a powerful dramatic performance from Mary Tyler Moore, as well as superb work from Donald Sutherland and Timothy Hutton, who also won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Redford did not direct again until The Milagro Beanfield War, a well-crafted, though not commercially successful, screen version of John Nichols' acclaimed novel of the Southwest. The Milagro Beanfield War is the story of the people of Milagro, New Mexico, overcoming big developers who set about to ruin their community and forced them out because of tax increases. Other directorial projects have included the period drama A River Runs Through It, based on Norman Maclean's novella, and the expose quiz show, about the quiz show scandal of the late 1950s. In the latter film, Redford worked from a screenplay by Paul Attanasio with noted cinematographer Michael Ballhaus in a strong cast that featured Paul Scofield, John Turturro, Rob Morrow, and Ralph Fiennes. Redford handpicked Morrow for his part in the film, because he liked his work on Northern Exposure. Redford also directed Matt Damon and Will Smith in The Legend of Bag of Ants. In 2010, Redford released The Conspirator, a period drama revolving around the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Despite a subject matter of personal interest to Redford, the film received mixed reviews and proved to be a flop at the box office. Honors. Redford attended the University of Colorado in the 1950s and received an honorary degree in 1988. In 1989, the National Audubon Society awarded Redford its highest honor, the Audubon Medal. In 1995, he received an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters degree from Bard College. He was a 2002 Lifetime Achievement Award honorary Oscar recipient at the 74th Academy Awards. In 1996, he was awarded the National Medal of Arts. In December 2005, he received the Kennedy Center Honors for his contributions to American culture. The honors recipients are recognized for their lifetime contributions to American culture through the performing arts, whether in dance, music, theater, opera, motion pictures, or television. In 2008, he was awarded the Dorothy and Lillian Gish Prize, one of the richest prizes in the arts, given annually to a man or woman who has made an outstanding contribution to the beauty of the world and to mankind's enjoyment and understanding of life. The University of Southern California School of Dramatic Arts announced the first annual Robert Redford Award for Engaged Artists in 2009. According to the school's website, the award was created to honor honor those who have distinguished themselves not only in the exemplary quality, skill and innovation of the work, but also in the public commitment to social responsibility, to increasing awareness of global issues and events, and to inspiring and empowering young people. Redford received an honorary Doctor of Fine Arts from Brown University at the 240th commencement exercises on May 25, 2008. He also spoke during the ceremonies. On October 14, 2010, he was appointed Chevalier of the Legion d'Honneur. He was a 2010 recipient of the New Mexico Governor's Award for Excellence in the Arts. On May 24, 2015, Redford delivered the commencement address and received an honorary degree from Colby College in Waterville, Maine. Sundance, with the financial proceeds of his acting success, starting with his salaries from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and Downhill Racer. Redford bought an entire ski area on the east side of Mount Timpanogos northeast of Provo, Utah, called Timp Haven, which was renamed Sundance. Redford's wife Lola was from Utah and they had built a home in the area in 1963. Portions of the movie Jeremiah Johnson, a film which is both one of Redford's favorites and one that has heavily influenced him, were shot near the ski area. He founded the Sundance Institute, Sundance Cinemas, Sundance Catalog, and the Sundance Channel, all in and around Park City, Utah, 30 miles north of the Sundance ski area. The Sundance Film Festival caters to independent filmmakers in the United States and has received recognition from the industry as a place to open films. In 2008, Sundance exhibited 125 feature-length films from 34 countries, with more than 50,000 attendees. The name Sundance comes from his Sundance Kid character. Redford also owns a restaurant called Zoom, located on Main Street in the former mining town of Park City. Independent films. Since founding the non-profit Sundance Institute in Park City in 1981, Redford has been deeply involved with independent film, through its various workshop programs and popular film festivals. Sundance has provided much-needed support for independent filmmakers. In 1995, Redford signed a deal with Showtime to start a 24-hour cable television channel devoted to airing independent films. The Sundance Channel premiered on February 29, 1996. Personal life. On September 12, 1958, in Las Vegas, Nevada, Redford married Lola Van Wagenen, who dropped out of college to marry him. They had 4 children: Scott Anthony, Shauna Jean, David James, and Amy Hart Redford. Lola and Redford divorced in 1985. Scott Redford was born on September 1, 1959, and died of sudden infant death syndrome on November 17, 1959, at the age of 2.5 months. His remains were buried at Provo City Cemetery in Provo, Utah. Shauna Redford is a painter and married to journalist Eric Schlosser. Jamie Redford is a writer and producer, while Amy Redford is an actress, director, and producer. In 1994, Jamie, suffering from liver disease, had a liver transplant. Redford has 7 her children. In July 2009, Redford married his longtime partner, Sibylle Eggers, at the Louis C. Jacob Hotel in Hamburg, Germany. She had moved in with Redford in the 1990s and shares his home in Sundance, Utah. In May 2011, Alfred Hitchcock published Robert Redford, the biography by Michael Feeney Callan, written over 15 years with Redford's input and drawn from his personal papers and diaries. Political activity. Redford supports environmentalism, Native American rights, LGBT rights, and the arts. He has also supported advocacy groups, such as the Political Action Committee of the Directors Guild of America. Redford has on occasion also supported Republicans, including Brent Cornell Morris in his unsuccessful campaign for the Republican nomination for Utah's 3rd Congressional District in 1990. Redford also supported Gary Herbert, another Republican and a friend, in Herbert's successful 2004 campaign to be elected Utah's lieutenant governor. Herbert later became governor of Utah. Redford is an avid environmentalist and is a trustee of the Natural Resources Defense Council. He endorsed Democratic President Barack Obama for re-election in 2012. Redford is the first quote on the back cover of Donald Trump's book, Cripple America, saying of Trump, "I'm glad he's in there because him being the way he is, and saying what he says the way he says it, I think shakes things up and I think that's very needed." In April 2014, Redford, a Pitzer College trustee, and Pitzer College President Laura Scandera Trombley announced that the college will divest fossil fuel stocks from its endowment. At the time, it was the higher education institution with the largest endowment in the U.S. to make this commitment. The press conference was held at the LA Press Club. In November 2012, Pitzer launched the Robert Redford Conservancy for Southern California Sustainability at Pitzer College. The Redford Conservancy educates the next generation of students to create solutions for the most challenging and urgent sustainability problems. Filmography.